Hi, I'm Black Bright, broadcasting out the east of England into your homes, onto your phones. Thank you for passing by. Um, this is not a news channel, even though it's called Black Bright News, but what I do, I do comment on the news or what's happening on the news or what's happening generally, put my 2 cents worth. It's usually just my opinion. I do try to back it up with research and resources, but if I do, I tend to put something in the description. Today, I wanted to talk about deprivation of powers that take away an individual's citizenship if they're born in the country. This wasn't always the case, but as many of you probably know, Shamima Begum is not being allowed back in the country to pursue her appeal. So it's happening. It's valid, and apparently, according to the Freedom of Information between 2010 and 2015, I believe, 81 individuals have been stripped of their citizenship. How does it happen? It happens through changes of legislation. Before the British Nationality Act in 1948, there was no such thing as a British citizen. They were British subjects. But now, since the British Nationality Act 1981, that's where things changed and individuals could be deprived of their citizenship. So let me just go through my notes because it is quite a complex subject and I'm not an authority on immigration. I just look at interesting topics and I talk on them. So the Rochdale grooming gang, predominantly Asian, I believe, they were consisting of predominantly Asian members. I think there was 9 of them. They were stripped of their citizenship after being convicted of sex trafficking, rape, conspiracy to engage in sexual activity with underage teenage girls and a child. This was made possible because even though they were, the majority of them, I believe, were born in Britain, their parents were not. I say that because in 2019, 12 white paedophiles from Berkshire were labelled sex offenders. They carried out sick fantasies on children and they were jailed. They were not robbed of their citizenship. It does seem to imply that you have to be a person of colour to be robbed of your citizenship. I mean, why can't they rob white people of their citizenship, or not even rob them? Why can't they strip white people who commit the same crime of their citizenship? You might say, well, you can't deport them anywhere. That's not the point. What it would mean is that they cannot travel anywhere. So what happens when a person of colour commits the same crime? Not only do they do the jail time, but they're also stripped of their citizenship and they're usually deported to a country that they've never been to, which is their parents' country. So I don't understand why the same wouldn't apply to white people. They can't be deported, but they could be stripped of their citizenship and be rendered stateless. So they're similarly disadvantaged. That's what I'm saying. They can't travel, they can't get jobs or whatever it is that people who are stripped of citizenships lose the privileges of. Just putting it out there. So, according to The Guardian, the majority of child sexual abuse groups are made up of white men aged under the age of 30 years. So, but it is the people of colour who are made a spectacle of and used as an example. British subject or British by naturalisation or registration or British born of foreign parents receive jail sentences, are stripped of citizenship and are deported to their parents' country. But white groups that do the same are not doubly or trebly punished. Stripping someone of their citizenship used to be reserved for national security issues, but now it applies to lesser crimes. The notion being, if you commit a crime, you are considered a threat to national security. In other words, if you have a criminal mind, how far does that criminal mind extend to? So they feel, I'm assuming, that if you commit a crime, any crime, the next crime will be bigger and bigger. So that is why they take that stance. So these days you can be deprived of citizenship based on public good deprivation powers. And like I said, according to the Freedom of Information requests, 81 individuals were stripped of their citizenship using deprivation powers between 2010 and 2015. Power to deprive a British person of citizenship has been widened so it can be used for undesirable conduct or misconduct. I guess it's up to them at what extent. Between 1948 and 2003, it would be very difficult to strip an individual of their citizenship. British citizenship was put on a statutory footing by the British Nationality Act 1948. Before 1948, there was no such thing as a British citizen, only British subjects. British nationality is now governed by British Nationality Act 1981, and this is where the government finds the power to deprive a oh dear. If I cough one more time, I'm going to go get some water. And this is where the government finds the power to deprive a British citizen of citizenship or status. The British Nationality Act 1981 has similar powers to the British Nationality and Status of Aliens Act 1918. So deprivation powers have been in place for decades. An individual can be stripped of citizenship if, according to, I think there was 3 or 4 conditions, but the one I was focusing on was, has, within a period of 5 years from the relevant date, been sentenced in any country to imprisonment for a term of not less than 12 months. So if you've been imprisoned for less than 12 months, or not less than 12 months, so over 12 months, you can be stripped of your citizenship. So anybody, a foreign national who is in jail, can be stripped of their citizenship. And I heard about that. You know, once you're in prison, you lose your rights. I mean, technically, they talk about, oh, yes, you can get legal representation and you still have human rights according to the convention. But according to this legislation, if you lose your citizenship rights, you lose everything. You lose your right to everything because you're stateless and you have no protection. So, at one time, a British citizen by birth could not be deprived of their citizenship. Deprivation powers were not used at all between 1973 and 2002. It apparently, between 1973 and 2002. That's who's in then? Maggie Thatcher and Theresa May. Anyway, it was under the Nationality, Immigration and Asylum Act 2002, which created provisions for detention and removal, reinforced by Secure Borders Safe Haven White Paper, where deprivation of citizenship was based on behaviour. So when the Nationality, Immigration and Asylum Act 2002 came into place, that is when they decided that you could be deprived of your citizenship based on behaviour. And I think that was because of, these terrorist attacks and stuff. But it's been extended now beyond terrorism. I mean, I can understand it being used for terrorism, but it's being used beyond terrorism now. Section 40 of the British Nationality Act 1981 removed the protection against deprivation for individuals born British, which is why if you're born in the UK, you can be deprived of your citizenship if the government feels you are not deemed to be for the public good. So it's Section 40 of the British Nationality Act 1981 that moves the protection of anyone born in Britain of being deprived of their citizenship. I thought it was quite interesting. What do you think? That's all for now. Bye-bye.